It turns out they were lying to your face this entire time.
Late to find out that they have been actively lying to your face the entire time. Not just a
what the? Did I not just say that? So last time I reacted to Samifying's video essay about the most infamous level in Geometry Dash, and I got so many comments from you guys asking me to react to the Space UK incident. And I had absolutely no clue what you guys were talking about, but I assumed it's this two-part series by Samifying about the best player in Geometry Dash history. So we're gonna be checking it out today. Also, I got comments about you guys saying, bro will do anything but actually play Geometry Dash. I went on a trip last week and I got really sick after that. And I do plan on live streaming me actually playing Geometry Dash. So don't miss out on the streams. I will be trying to stream consistently now.
I would call this the largest scale hacking scandal we've ever seen in this game.
He was forced to confess. It was not something that he did willingly.
It changed an entire
there's DVW
Geometry Dash top player history.
Oh shoot, so this involves like the top players.
All of us have that one game that we share a very special connection with. Either because it helped us get through a rough time in our life, or it allowed us to meet others.
This is about to get spicy, guys. I had no idea there was this much lore and this much drama behind this
game that you even might have had on your phone at some point. But do not let that undersell you on the absolute insanity that has occurred over the years in this game. Because it turns out I was not alone. There's millions of other players that enjoy the game just as much as I do. And when a community like that forms, it is only natural for the game to become competitive.
Oh my gosh! Wait, that's the list of the top players. So I'm guessing Space UK used to be known as the top player in Geometry Dash.
Competitive.
We all know who Zoink is. We all know who Doggy is. I mean, we all know the other people too, but I'm most familiar with those.
It is hard to put into words the amount of skill these players have. From executing almost pixel-perfect movements to pushing the limits of what humans can do in this game. Tons of friendly rivalries have formed over the years, with top players helping each other out and cheering each other on. It was all about
and then there was
pushing the limits
Michigan
together.
Rest in peace to Michigan. You guys filled me in.
The story that I'm going to tell you today is what happens when one of those players decides that everyone else is worth jack shit.
Oh shoot! The #1 player. Fraud! Oh shoot. Part 1 of 2, Chapter 0. We're gonna be watching both parts in this video, by the way.
Welcome to Geometry Dash. Originally starting
when was this uploaded? This was uploaded in August 25th, 2023, so.
A mobile game, not just on the creative side, where players have pushed the limits over the years. Just like in any game, with difficulty comes glory. One of the most prestigious titles any player can hold is to be the verifier of the current hardest level. The community has gathered over the years to create a list that ranks levels based on their difficulty.
I mean,
the level that sits on the throne on top.
After seeing Silent Club Step documentary by Samifying,
an absolute horrid and treacherous
I see how serious
that has taken a toll
get
on many of the best players in the game. Beating a top 1 demon is not something that you do overnight. It's a journey that can take hundreds of thousands of attempts to complete.
I still think that's so crazy.
You stand as a true symbol of determination and skill. With
the fact that people spend years sometimes.
So what would happen if someone tried faking their way to the top?
It begins. Chapter 1, competition.
A lot of people say that anyone can beat anything in this game, which I personally kind of believe. On one end, it's just kind of like a dedication thing, but because the game is so simple by nature, the #1 player is kind of like what you should reach after. Kind of like a swimmer trying to become Michael Phelps, right? But without the genetic advantage.
The history
That's why some people, they use performance-enhancing drugs.
Over the years, a countless number of players have actually shared that title. Whoever was considered the best player
once they get caught,
was actively beating the hardest levels and pushing the boundaries of this game further. This title, however, would always be in contention. For a majority of this game's lifespan, it actually always was a group of players.
That's
that
me
was hanging
beating
around at the
a Rob top
You would
level.
have constant rivalries with both sides just pushing each other further and further. And while they were having an end-of-the-world Dragon Ball fight up there, the rest of the community was trying to keep up. From an outsider's point of view, this was absolutely amazing to watch. Sitting around in streams all day, watching them throw attempt after attempt at what seemed to be an unbreakable wall. It's like rooting for your favorite football team. You want them to succeed.
In that moment that you're actually in the stream when it happens, you're probably like, oh my gosh, I was actually here. Oh look, I was here.
Between them and the top players. Trust that sadly has been abused in the past before. As I explained in my Impossible Levels video, one of the biggest rivalries in Geometry Dash history was between Riot and Cyclic. And if you watched that video, you know how that turned out. It turned out Cyclic had cheated everything. Apparently, not a single one of his completions
none of it
that we all knew him for, that we all loved him for, was legit. This is something that struck a dagger deep into the heart of the community. Up until that point, it wasn't really precedented.
This was hacked.
Community figure.
Wait, what?
Up until that point, it
was. This was hacked. Cyclic did a really nice job of
really
covering
precedented that a community figure,
lost
someone that we all looked up to, would abuse
Dang,
our
it's like you
trust
built
in
up
such
your
a blatant
reputation
way.
just for it to get
And you would
destroyed,
think
just because
that from that,
you
people would have
decided to
learned.
let the ego
You
get the
cheat,
best of
sure.
you.
Short term, you get lots of attention and people think you're actually good at the
Yeah,
game.
but then your reputation's
long-term,
done.
You're not only hurting yourself, but an entire community of genuine, hard-working players. And
That's
the
tough.
person I'm gonna talk about today, for some reason, just didn't get that.
I love that anime. Have you guys seen that anime? Chapter 2, A Rising Star.
He was hard to comprehend in terms of skill just because it was so... He was such a weird player.
I still have yet to
really
see tricks like the way Trick plays.
Way faster than anything or anyone else. Like it was
holds world record
like
for
people
most
have never seen
extreme
before,
demons
like,
ever
way
beaten.
faster than us,
Whoa!
faster than anyone.
Put
How about
yourself in
now,
the mind of a
nowadays?
player in 2020.
Who
At
has
this
the
point,
most
the game
demons,
has almost
extreme
7 years
demons
of
beaten
incredible
now?
achievements on its back. We went from hating on hard levels to them becoming the spectacles of the community.
I still
Even
hate
then,
him because
at
I
this
can't
point
beat
in
him.
2020, new players were improving faster than ever.
Oh my
This
gosh, I
was an
want
era
to get better
defined by a new
too.
generation of
Alright, I'm gonna start
incredibly
grinding,
versatile
guys. I'm
players
gonna start
that were
grinding.
beating
You guys
things
are gonna
at a
see the
faster rate
streams.
than ever before. Tartarus, the hardest level at
Tartarus.
the time, had just received some competition. A new level was just added to the Demonist, and some people were saying it's harder than
The
Tartarus.
golden.
This means that for the first time in roughly 5 months, a level was actively competing with Tartarus for the #1 spot on the Demonist. This is a list that archives and ranks the 150 hardest levels that currently have been completed by a player. There was a lot of hype around this level. Just like Tartarus, it seemed to push the boundaries of what was possible at the time. It took the verifier Enswish, who was considered the current best player, 2 entire months and 52,000 attempts to beat it. The moment this happened, a ton of top players immediately rushed to give it a
That's
try
not bad
and
at
get
all, though.
progress themselves. These players included Swyborg, Rory, Wolves, Crisis, and Doggy. All players that were about to become household names in the community. However, there was one player that kinda stood out from the rest. Someone almost nobody had heard of at the time. Space UK. This guy was a nobody, to put it bluntly. Before this, only some players were actually even aware of his existence to begin with. But that's only part of the reason why this completion is
I just
kinda
remember
special.
what that anime was called. It was called
Apparently,
Your
it was
Lie
his
in April.
5th
Have you guys
demon.
have you guys ever watched it? It's pretty sad.
I beat the golden.
Oh, you beat it?
Oh, yeah. Holy shit, that was 1 attempt.
The one attempt? What the? That's kind of crazy. Dude, Space UK went from Layak to Wazireta to the golden like legit. Was it really legit though?
That was like, hearing the golden as a top 1 being your like 5th demon or whatever was unheard of.
That's
To the naked eye,
crazy.
he came out of nowhere. Like we knew he existed. He knew
One
he was
attempt
doing
as
it,
in
but
like
no one
in
really
that session,
really
I'm
actively did it.
assuming.
This was insane. A demon is the hardest difficulty rating a level can receive, and it is split into 5 subsections, ranging from easy demon to extreme demon. Up until this point, beating any level that has reached extreme demon status would normally be a months-long journey, where you would consistently practice and
How long
hone
did
your
it take
skills
him?
to prepare yourself for an upcoming battle. you would not just do this overnight. Playing an Extreme Demon is one of the toughest things you can do in this game, and even then, just being categorized as an Extreme Demon doesn't even mean that it's in the Demon list. There's tons of Extreme levels out there now, but we only actively keep track and rank the top 150. Here is why this entire thing was kinda insane. This is Space UK's progression as a player.
He went from not too hard to boom, instantly hitting one of the hardest, if not the hardest at the time.
And then beat his first ever demon, Decode.
And it was like an easy-ish demon? Dude, even an easy-ish demon looks crazy hard to me.
Playing harder levels in the game. As his second ever demon, he immediately decided to jump to an insane demon.
What the? That's kind of crazy. Okay. Maybe he was just built like that, guys. Maybe we're being too harsh on him. Dude, he's just going up. He said medium and hard, not for me. I like insane.
Choose insane demons as their second and third ever. You're supposed to show a gradual increase in difficulty, which in turn helps you practice different skill sets. From having a heavy focus on the wave game mode to being memory based, there's tons of different styles that you should actively practice. So, what did Space do next?
Extreme? No way. Wait. Nah, what? Oh shoot, he went straight to the top of the top. No way. Where is he going? Top 10? 20? He's still going. Hello? Wazureta, 4th ever demon? Dude. He just jumped all the way up there for his 4th demon, and then, of course, for his 5th ever demon, it was the number 1. Well, I guess, is it the number 1 at the time? I guess it's number 2 at the time. Holy crap, that's crazy.
A lot of people give Space,
I guess number 1
to
at the
like
time was Silent Club Step, right?
And with jumping, it basically means going from one level to a much significantly harder level. And Space was like the pioneer of that method, going for the number 2 demon at the time as his
That's
hit.
insane.
It's
that
really
jump is crazy.
Perspective how big of a jump this is. This was the moment that first catapulted him into the mainstream community, and little
I guess that was like what set him apart from everyone else. It's like, wow, this guy got balls. He's jumping straight to the top. Damn, the heavy breathing and everything.
This level was so fucking shit.
The real question is, how did he cheat?
Not only did he beat the Golden, but 3 months after that, decided to go for Tartarus.
Wait, nah, wait, Tartarus. Oh, so Tartarus was the number 1 at the time.
This point in time, this player
but I thought
came out of
people
nowhere,
were saying that Golden was
beaten the
just as hard, if not harder.
Hardest levels ever. He was slowly cementing himself.
Oh my god!
The fastest improving player the game.
He just went straight for the top.
He wouldn't stop there. It was level after level after level.
He's still going.
He just started destroying the demon list.
It was also just like mind-blowing and impressive to just see someone so nonchalantly like shred the entire demon list. Like, there's no better way to put it. He just shredded everything.
Damn. It seemed like he was here to stay. Throughout 2021, he would just be on a tear.
What the heck?
More respect and therefore more attention with every completion that he uploaded. It was so insane, in fact, that it would actually lead to his nomination as the best player of 2021.
That's crazy.
Crisis, Wolves, and Trick.
He won by a long shot too?
One more thing that I forgot to mention.
Zoinks wasn't even nominated in this vote? Slaughterhouse verified. What? Chapter 3, undeniably the best.
It's October the 24th. Tartarus was roughly 1 month away from having its 2nd anniversary on top of the list. No other level in the history of the game has survived this long on top. The only one that ever came close in any way was Bloodlust, with its 1 year and 2 month reign on top. This is an achievement filled with tons of history that would kinda deserve a video on its own.
I still gotta
the reason
like
I'm telling you this is because on this
still gotta
date,
learn how the
Tartarus
rankings
was denied
even work.
its 2nd anniversary on the top.
Cause like If it already got pushed out of #1, can it come back to #1 again? I guess maybe with like little tweaks and updates to the level. This looks insane.
I can't fucking
That's
react,
insane.
otherwise I'm gonna cough so much. Oh my god.
He's destroying these. Wait, he said, okay, before anyone thinks this is the unnerfed version, it is not. This is a nerfed version. Space UK
It was
won the
verified by
race.
Space UK in what's known as the closed verification race. This is when the original creators of the level choose a specific amount of players to just race for the verification, almost as a sort of.
Wait, so he
here
was
it is,
actually legit.
and
So he
good
was
luck.
actually really
This
good,
means
right?
that for the case of Slaughterhouse,
there's no way to
any of
cheat
these
in this
13
case.
players could have been the first to beat the level legit in a big race for glory. Whoever survived it first would have their name written down as the player to push the limits of the game to a whole new level. And that is exactly what Space did. Space was such a dominant force in that race that
So he's
people were
actually
already
good.
using it as
So
a reason
what
to
made him,
nominate
like-
Space as the best player for that year?
What made him a
which
fraud?
We now know he won by a landslide.
Blow my
at that.
mind.
This alone would
Samifying,
already
blow
be
my mind.
insanely
How is this
impressive by
guy a
itself,
fraud
but
if he's actually
Slaughterhouse was
decent at
special.
the game?
It wasn't just a level to
Not even
one-up
decent,
Tartarus,
like insanely
so it could
good,
get placed a step
as we
above.
clearly
It
see
was
here.
a leap in difficulty. To show you just how much it was ahead of its time, to this day, in May 2023, Slaughterhouse sits on the #4 spot on the demon list. Oh, look who it is. Oh.
Silent club step.
Tartarus sits at #22. Do you realize how insane that is? The longest surviving
What?
level to ever be on top has been pushed down by 21 spots
Oh my
in
God.
1.5 years. As you can see, a lot of stuff has happened in those 2 years, and Space would play a really big part in that. People weren't aware of it back then, but the next 2 years were about to become known as the Slaughterhouse era. The level would remain on top for the next 10 months, which is a testament to how fast players were actually improving. At this point, Space had overtaken the rest of the world and was officially crowned the #1
That's so
player
crazy.
purely based on stats alone. That would be a title that he would hold for a really long time, because you see, he was nowhere near his peak yet.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be actress, I think.
Wow, you literally just got 91.
Yes, sir! Yes, let's f***ing go.
Hey, like he might be a fraud at the end of his career, but like you can't discredit what he accomplished here, right? Unless he wasn't cheating the entire time.
Oh my god, yes. No. This is f***ing... Oh my god.
I mean, to my naked eye, to my beginner's eyes, I can't really tell a difference right now.
Yes! Yo, I just beat Kiyuki.
No, you didn't. I did.
Demon list today, #5. And it's been like 2 years since this video dropped, so
Okay.
all these rankings could be
Oh my
totally
God,
different
okay.
now too.
Okay, cool. Keep going, right?
He's locked in, that's for sure.
I beat Akron! I just beat Akron!
Oh
I
shoot!
just beat Akron! I 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 just beat
And he
Akron.
has
I
a
just beat
hand
Akron.
cam too. The first victor of the
At
new
this
#1
point, he
demon.
basically had achieved everything a player can achieve in this game. Acheron marked the 3rd time that Space had conquered a new top 1 demon over the years.
He just keeps on going,
He eventually
huh?
also went on to not only beat the top 10, not only beat the top 20, but the entire main demon list.
That's
All
insane!
75 levels completed by just one player. I can only imagine how many upcoming players were actually
Wait, who is
completed
this?
by just one player.
This had only been done by one other player in the past.
I
and
can only
Swish.
imagine how many upcoming players were actually looking up to him at this point. He
So
must have been
technically, isn't
such a big
N-Swish the best
inspiration to
player at
so
the
many
time?
people.
Before Space UK
himself
came
was
in
doing absolutely
into the
amazing.
picture?
His YouTube channel was popping off. He had garnered the respect of every player in the community, and it seemed like he would go down in the game's history for being the best player to ever touch this game.
He was supposed to, it
Until
seems like.
April 2023, where one notable player finally
Oh.
dared to ask the question,
Oh,
"Hey Space, why do your clicks not line up with your gameplay?
Oh! Nah! Space UK has been caught hacking. On a whim, I checked out some of Space UK's more recent records, and a lot of them seem incredibly suspicious, if not 100% hacked. Oh!
I would call this the largest scale hacking scandal we've ever seen in this game.
No way!
It was not something that he did willingly.
It changed an entire 2 years of Geometry Dash top player history.
I know how
So what, they just had to wipe his entire history out of the leaderboard? Oh my gosh, let's check out part 2, guys. The biggest fraud in Geometry Dash history.
The date is
This is it.
April 24th.
We're jumping straight into this.
Space UK was undeniably at his peak, with 2 Best Player awards, the #1 spot on the leaderboards, and a YouTube channel with millions of views.
Why?
He
How
was
did, like,
the
why
best
and how
player
did
the
it
game
take
had
this
ever seen.
long for him to get caught, though? That's what I don't
On
understand.
this day,
People
he would
just
also
let it
be
go?
banned from
Or
competing,
like, no
with
one
his
even
legacy
questioned it?
undone forever.
They just let him beat the entire demon list.
Something that he did willingly.
Space hacking is not victimless. There are a ton of people who have been directly affected, and a lot of my friends were.
I know how much money you made. How can you make that much money and not feel guilty?
Oh. This is it. Now we get into the nitty-gritty of things. Whew. Just threw it all away.
I remember when they took his
I guess there was
records
no
off the demon
reputation
list.
in the
I
first
remember
place
talking about it
if he was hacking from the beginning. He just made a name for himself and then just ran off with it.
with him in like a private group chat. He just said that they were just checking because there was a new hacking method found or something, and they wanted to just be sure. So I never really thought that he hacked.
Space's account had suddenly just disappeared.
The signs
from
were
the
there.
Stats viewer. When this happens, this usually can only mean 1 or 2 things. He either quit the game and deleted his account, or...
I remember just seeing his profile being off the list, and I was confused.
I'm sure
like, at that
everyone was
time,
shocked because
no one
they're
really
supposed
had
to be
any
number
information.
1, you
But
know?
I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up being cheating by that point, because I like connected the dots by that point already.
The community was left in a pretty confusing situation. Nobody really knew what was going on until... It turns out, while they were looking into space for another reason, the headless moderator Paco found something else.
There had been a discussion about a person who had come up with some new ways of hacking that we would be able to catch, but that would require a decent amount of searching for. And I had thought that this person was in connection with Space UK, and that ended up not being true. But when I looked at his Acheron video, it turned out that some things were pretty off about it.
What Paco had noticed was not something that you would just casually see or even look for. Really tiny and inconsistent variations in his click timings. This means that one of his clicks could be completely frame perfect, but the next jump would be 2 frames delayed, or maybe 3. Some even had a delay of 5 entire frames, which was not normal, to say the least. But hey,
It's
it
all
could have been
slowly
anything,
coming
honestly.
out.
A bad recording software like Shadowplay might introduce tiny delays into recordings.
I didn't think a ton of it, but I went on to check another one of his things, and I noticed that same sort of issue rising up each time that I checked.
Paco also found
Paco was
something
like,
else,
I'm taking a
around
deep
6%
dive into
of its
this.
completion from
I'm not
space,
letting them
you can hear
go.
a mysterious second click. This
Random
immediately
click
was
sound?
seen as a giant red flag, because usually this was a sign of a player using a macro, which is a third-party tool that sort of allows you to record inputs and then have the game play them back for you, creating what looks like a normal run to everyone else. But if Space was using a macro, why can we hear his mouse clicks throughout the entire completion? Oh no.
Obviously, it's incredibly difficult to go out and make a claim like, I think the best player ever is cheating, because making the claim is just such an outlandish thing unless you have 100% proof, which was surprisingly difficult to find.
So, considering all of the inconsistencies,
They watched
Paco
every
decided
little
enough
thing.
was enough. The video will go
Yeah, I
up
mean, if
on
you
the
make it to the
25th
top,
of
like,
April.
they're gonna do a deep dive. They're gonna look at every little thing. Woo! Wait. Hold on. Someone asked, so Space UK beat top 75 and then started hacking for some reason? Unless he's been hacking this entire time. Let the chaos flow.
The community.
People were living for the drama.
It was honestly a mixed camp with
this guy is obviously baiting, right?
And the other side finally connected.
Guys, this is obviously a crap post.
This would mean that every completion that Space
is real. I actually can't tell.
The second player to ever beat the entire main list were cheated. Just to remind you, this includes Acheron, the number one.
Yeah, it's probably hard to believe, you know.
These completions were some of Space's most.
They're probably so mind blowing and like respect this guy so much, and just for him to.
We had reasonable proof to believe that he cheated all of them. So.
Yikes.
Where was Space in all of this? Well, later on that day, he would respond.
Apology post? Chapter 5, Implosion. Yo, it's getting spicy.
Every main list after my Sephiroth main list completion in May 8th, 2022.
He just came out and told the truth. I mean, I guess there's nothing else to lose.
Was hacked. I lost interest in actually playing the game and wanted to see how long.
What? Nah, he's lying.
Hacked completions include Aerial Gleam, Oblivion, Abyss of Darkness, The Hallucination.
Are you sure it's just not all of it at this point?
Oh, I forgot. Acheron 2.
What?
This was a deep blow to the community. He admitted
to
cheating.
That means he actually beat some of the other ones, though.
In the past year.
He's actually legit.
Which included Acheron.
But that doesn't make me respect him for cheating.
He just got bored of the game and wanted to see how long he could get away with it.
It's such a dumb excuse,
as if the community and all its players trying their best to compete were just a bunch of toys he could play with. I also love how he just forgot for a second that he cheated Acheron 2. Something odd that didn't go unnoticed. The band-aid was off. Space came out and admitted to cheating the past year of his achievements.
Goodness.
Countless first victor titles that symbolize.
At this point, you just gotta take away all of his accomplishments, whether he did it legit or not.
Everyone makes mistakes. Maybe the pressure you receive as a top player got to him and eventually led to him cheating. He still was a great player. The last year of faking his accomplishments should not completely nullify the insane achievements from 2021. You know, verifying.
Someone else needs to check, like,
voted as the best
all the other levels that he didn't name. Like, did he cheat those two?
But the second band-aid needs to come off too.
Oh my gosh. Yo, he deleted his YouTube channel? That's insane. Just ran off with it.
I woke up and I got a DM.
So his channel doesn't exist anymore?
Verifying Slaughterhouse. And I was like, there's no way this guy actually, like, there's no way this can be real. Like there's no way this actually just happened.
The moment Space was exposed on the first day, a massive investigation into all his completions and all his raw footage was started. In that investigation, not much came up. He would pass all the normal checks a legit player would too. The only things that were a reoccurring problem in almost all of his raw footage were the inconsistent click timings. But one person from the challenge list found something else. A watermark. Since the dawn of GD modding, there always have been big concerns about people using mods for nefarious reasons like cheating completions and trying to pass them off as legit. For this reason, mod authors have worked together with the list teams over the years to include really obscure and tiny watermarks in their mods. Watermarks that only imagine
an Among Us character be the reason of your downfall. I mean, you shouldn't have been cheating in the first place, but imagine
these watermarks to see if anything fishy was going on. And exactly this is what turned Space from just another cheater to the biggest fraud the game has ever seen.
And it's been so long, like 2021. Did I really just not know it for all this time? So that was all the thoughts running through my mind. And I open, Twitter, and I just see, Space UK. I hacked Slaughterhouse. I hacked
Oh my
hacker on
gosh.
everything.
Imagine just
everything
one day
IP
waking up
has
and
been hacked.
Seemingly overnight,
seeing your like
Doggy
number
was
one
promoted
competitor
from
just
first
wiped off the
victor of
leaderboard.
Slaughterhouse to the actual first player to ever beat that level legit. It wasn't Space who verified Slaughterhouse, it was Doggy. All because of
That must be
measly
such a great
64
feeling though. It's
pixels
like,
on the level
I
completion
actually
screen.
did it legitimately. No way!
The Cbot watermark that eventually got Space caught changes the size of the level complete
That's
text at the
crazy.
end of every level completed. It doesn't change it in an obvious way, it changes it by 64 pixels. But that's not all. Because of how the game works,
That's actually
even the
insane,
texture
though.
pack or stuff like that would not really be able to circumvent this. Because it's not really the size change that we're looking at the ratio between the level complete text upon entering the finish.
That's
and
so
the level
smart from
complete
the people
text
who
in
actually made the
menu that
level.
appears after. Normally, these two texts
They
side by
really
side
take
have
this
a
stuff
ratio of
seriously.
approximately 72%. But if you activate Cbot at any point during the completion, that ratio shrinks to a 68.12%. And this is what got Space caught. Because it turns out, almost all of his completions have this watermark. And combined with the fact that we know he has inconsistent click timings in all of his raw footage, we basically can confirm that what he did was learn a level to the point where he would have every
So he
input
was basically
memorized.
just
He then
botting
would
all these
record a macro that
completions.
would activate upon pressing a predetermined
That's
keybind,
insane.
and then he would record himself playing the first 5 to 10% legit, activating the macro, and just clicking over the inputs just to fake
And
the audio.
because
This was Space's method.
you know,
that
he
got him
actually
past
knows
all
the level
proof
and is
checks
actually
for
a
almost
decent
3
player.
years.
Like, he was
But
able to fake
how?
it.
How did this slip for so long? The answer is surprisingly complicated.
Not only was he pretty decent at the way that he was hacking, but he was incredibly good at sort of socially engineering the way in which he interacted with people to come off as legit.
He was actually a good player, so it didn't look suspicious on stream.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
when
was
he
saying.
calls
Like,
with
he
us,
actually seemed
because
like a
he actually
decent
could
player.
play the levels. He did learn them and like actually play them, but when it came to completing them,
He just couldn't beat
didn't
him.
do that. He just botted them.
From an outsider's point of view, it's
He was
easy to
probably
blame
like
the Demon List
70%
mods
in
for
and
not
he's
checking
like,
all these
"Ah, I
things
can't
way
do
earlier.
it."
They should have been more skeptical of him.
But his
especially
ego
at the start,
got in the
when
way.
he beat the Golden-Ness's 5th ever demon. But what an outsider won't know is that Space's rise to fame was in an era where cheat detection just wasn't as developed as it is now. He was
Oh,
able
that
to
makes a lot
kickstart
more
momentum
sense,
in
too.
an era where other players were doing ridiculous things already. It was easy
Now
to
you
point
would
at
not be
players
able to
like
get away
Enswish
with
and almost
any of
use them
this.
as a sort of
So
alibi for
Zoinks
Space.
Zoinks
If people
is
like
probably
Enswish could
as
do
good
it,
as they
why not
say.
him? This allowed him to get the ball rolling at the perfect moment, and once he had momentum, it sort of became a feedback loop. The mere fact that a player that was so prevalent and in your face about how good he was hasn't been caught yet gave him credit. Why look into him when it seems so obvious that he would have been caught already if he really was faking it? If you combine this with the fact that he was friends with most of the top players, it is maybe easier to understand why certain things were just overlooked. This, in my opinion, is basically why it took so long for him to get caught.
Like I said, Space was a social engineer. That's kind of what pushed him to be legit in people's eyes. It wasn't about how he was playing.
He
It
was just
about
a
how he
con
treated the
man.
game, how he was so nice in the community, how he was so genuine, it seemed like. That everyone kind of blindly believed him off of that and didn't really assume he was
Dang,
hacking
dude.
or
Like,
anything.
not
I
even
don't
one
think it's
person
impossible
even
to
thought of
imagine he's
it.
a hacker. I think it's more impossible to imagine that we didn't catch him yet. So it's like he just can't be.
If there is any lesson that I was taught through this entire situation,
Do not
it's
trust
that
anyone.
The best way to lie is to tell the truth. And you will see later on what I mean by that. Nah, this guy. What? But until then, I kind of want to divert the attention away from Space.
Bro was
There has
actually...
been
He was actually confessing. He said, "Good thing I have my axe really well
Until
hidden."
then, I kind
But
of
it was like
divert the
covered
attention
in like
away
a
from
joke.
Space. There has
It was
been
masked.
so many people that were hurt by his actions, from players that got years of their lives stolen from them to others who would have
Dang,
received so much more attention and success if it wasn't for Space. Let's talk about the players who actually deserve to be in the spotlight.
Stolen glory. I mean, I'm sure some people almost basically gave up because they couldn't be first.
Yeah, I mean, I was number one once when Space like removed his profile.
That's the only reason you were number one, is because he
Yeah,
temporarily
exactly.
removed his profile.
So if he never was there, I would have been number one for quite a bit of time, I think.
Oh
How does that
man,
feel?
poor guy.
it feels kind of shit. It feels like a punch to the gut.
Damn, you basically got robbed.
Yeah.
Wolves was considered one of the best players around 2021. He is currently the world record holder of most extreme demons ever beaten, sitting at
Quality
over 450.
Yeah, what are those thumbnails?
An achievement like this is not something you can
I
do
guess
in a
that's
couple
his
of months.
branding.
It's something that takes years of hard work and determination. And the worst thing about all of this is he actually was kind of close to Space. They were friends.
Dang, that's even
Twitter
worse.
He said, me removing my list profile probably makes more sense now. Like, he considered it to just remove and stop, but he was just so addicted to being above everyone else, so he came back.
It's all
That's
about
like
pride and
what
ego
makes
at
me
the
think
end of
that
the
he
day.
just doesn't care. He just thinks about himself.
Wolves is one of 6 players that were affected by Space in this way. If it wasn't for Space cheating himself to the top, they would have been considered the best player instead, which is something that they will never be able to get back. Some other names
Hey,
include
you can still do it,
Thunder
but
BT, Jeller,
I get it,
Snowballer, and Crisis.
It's always
at that moment in time, right? Like leading
always
right
comes
up
back
to
to
the
Crisis.
whole exposal. Were you still in close contact with Space at that moment? Like a VC the day before? Like
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, we've been talking like basically daily for 2 years.
Damn. Out of all of the people I interviewed, Crisis probably was the closest to Space. And just like
You know,
Wolves,
when
they
your
kinda
parents
were
say don't
rivals.
talk to strangers online, this is what they talk
for a long time.
about. Like,
oh shit, okay.
Yep. Never could get number 1.
You
you
remember
can
like
meet
roughly
you
how
can
long
meet
you
the
kept
most
that
genuine
number 2
people,
spot?
or you
I
think
guess,
they're the
like,
most
4 to
genuine.
6 months.
But turns
Imagine
out
being
they were
friends with someone
they were
for
lying to your face this entire
just too late to
time.
find out that they have been actively lying to your face the entire time. Not just a
What the?
harmless-
Did I not just say that?
To find out that they have been actively lying to your face the entire time.
What?
Not just a harmless lie either. You were competing against each other. Something that especially between
Yo,
friends should
Samify, you
happen on a
listening to
basis
me?
of fairness and trust.
Where
But
you
for
at?
some reason, no matter how hard you try, you can never catch up. And then one day, you find out why. Not because your friend wanted to tell you, but because he was forced to tell you.
A day later, they announced that he just hacked everything, and that really hit me deep. I was happy and sad and annoyed at the same time. I was happy at first because I realized that I was actually number 1 for a while. But then
He's like,
I realized
wait,
that I never
I'm
got
number
the
1
feeling
now.
of being number 1, so it didn't feel good.
Wolves
could have
and
been number
Crisis
1 for
were,
much
and to this
longer.
day are some of the best players this game has ever seen. To know that they never really got their chance to be at the top
Dang.
just because of Space feels horrible. Oh, were you the first victor of Firework?
I was, yeah. I mean, after Space.
Yeah.
But
Without
should have
Space,
been number 1.
Firework would have been the number 1 level at the top because he would have
Dude.
never verified Slaughterhouse. This would mean that Crisis would have been the first victor of that level instead of Space, with the verifier being Trick, who also has his story to tell.
There's a level called Firework that I was playing for around a year, but I knew the level way before that.
What does Firework mean to you?
Firework meant basically the entire game for me at the time that I was verifying it, because Firework was just kind of my big break in the community. Like, it was so fast.
And from my
everyone just
understanding,
knew me all
like,
of a
you
sudden. I was
dedicate
never used
so
to
much
being in
time
an
into
environment
this
like
one
that.
level.
So it means a lot to me. In terms
So
of
it
everything
really
that I've done in the
sucks
game.
knowing
It's kind of my
that,
symbol.
you know, who might have
Trick
beaten you
was an
out
upcoming player
was a
looking
cheater.
to prove himself to everyone at the time. To do that, he promised the original creators of Firework that he could verify it and make it become the number 1 hardest demon in the game. And with that, began his 1-year-long journey to try and prove to everyone that he was good enough to beat it. During this journey, he spent roughly 234,000 attempts.
Oh
I was
my
trying
God.
to verify it to prove to basically everyone that I was actually a good player and that, you know, I deserved the verification, because at that time, you know, no one knew me,
Man,
so
this
everyone just
got
thought
me
I was
motivated
dropped it
though.
like
I really
everyone
do
else
want to
did.
get
There
good
was
at
like
this
7
game.
verifiers before me that were all top players and they couldn't do it.
They all dropped it?
Yeah, like it was all top players too. It was like really notable top players in the community. Firework was just so far ahead of anything in difficulty during the time that I don't even think any top player felt it to be reasonable.
At some point in Trick's journey, the whole Slaughterhouse thing happened. It was announced that there would be a closed verification race, and Trick was even invited to be part of it.
Around when Doggy dropped it and there became a verification race, that I first played the level and realized, like, damn, this level is way harder than Firework. And like I really got scared. And then when Space started progressing just like so quickly on it, Like, that was really hard for me.
All of a sudden, this level basically came out of nowhere, threatening to throw all of Trick's hard work straight out the window. At this point, he almost was a year into his journey of verifying firework, and to see Space just ripping through Slaughterhouse must have been horrifying to watch. How long did it take Space to beat Slaughterhouse?
No more than a week. Less than a week, probably. It was crazy. That's what
I mean, man, you spent a whole year and then
it was hard for me.
Someone just comes out of nowhere.
Such a dominant player, like, because at that time I was really trying to work on my skill as well. So during that time, it was just.
As we know, Space would then eventually go on to verify Slaughterhouse 5 days before Trick was able to verify Firework, stealing away a year of hard work and determination.
That's so crazy.
It was supposed to be Trick with Firework, but at the top sat Space with Slaughterhouse. Knowing what we do now, we of course know that Trick actually succeeded with his dream. He was the verifier of the top
at the time, he was probably so heartbroken.
Neither him or anyone else knew it. It's almost like Space was holding the entire demon list hostage. If you didn't know, the way they rank levels is based on the opinions of the people that have actually beaten them. And since Space was such a prevalent and good player, he had a lot of control over where levels would be placed.
Dude, that's not even fair.
To the detriment of a lot of other top players.
When he confessed that he hacked, it brought new context to like so much stuff. Like at the time when he beat Hard Machine, which was a level that I verified, he said it was only about Zodiac difficulty. But the other people who had beaten it eventually said that it should be harder than Tartarus, and they still do say that to this day.
So he was just sabotaging
everyone. An incredible player that started playing this game in 2014.
But whatever he said
he's been going at
goes.
this now for almost 9 years, and ever since he started playing, he always had one dream.
I just want to see myself at the top. I just want to see myself with the achievement of having beaten the hardest thing that anyone has done in the game.
Back in 2021, he got really close to doing this. He was the verifier of a level called Hard Machine. He went through an incredible journey and spent over 40,000 attempts to finally verify it. And once he did, it was all about waiting for other top players to beat it and then asking them how hard they thought the level was, including Space.
This level.
Back then,
the disrespect.
Including
this level is so easy it doesn't even deserve a description.
Back then they said, well, maybe it isn't actually that hard because, you know, Space beat it so quick that maybe he's right and maybe it's just my personal experience that
he was just gaslighting the entire like competitive community.
In typical Space fashion, it only took him 7,000 attempts to actually beat Hard Machine. His opinion, number 5. Varium thinks that Space's opinion of the level massively influenced the opinions of other top players at the time.
And Space's influence just sort of robbed me of my dream. As soon as I realized that, well, for the next few days, I just couldn't stop thinking about how I was right there and I could have had it, but then Space sort of took that away from me, and now I have to go through the biggest difficulty jump that this game has ever seen.
Today, we basically know that if it wasn't for Space and his superior skill, Hard Machine probably would have placed around number 1, meaning Varium would have achieved his dream of beating the current hardest level. He's still trying to this day, by the way, so if there's anyone out there that's looking for a top 1 verifier, there's a free agent right there that you could pick up, but make sure to tell him I said hi.
Doggy.
I respected this man so much, and I like this guy. He was such a chill guy, and now I have to, like, you know, deal with him being a cheater.
You just gotta cut him off at that point.
Achievements by Space, Doggy's story especially stood out to me. As I mentioned earlier, with Space being exposed as a cheater, it meant that the first victor of Slaughterhouse was actually the first ever player to beat it legit. In this case, it was Doggy. For 1.5 years, neither the community or Doggy had any idea that he actually was the one to officially dethrone Tartarus from its number 1 spot. The exposure that should have been a reward for all of his hard work for taking the first step past Tartarus is basically—
This dude just took all the views and dipped. He got almost 2 million views on this. It's like being the first, you know, like everyone wants
Honestly,
to see it.
Since he went so long without even like saying anything, I don't even think he felt bad, bro. He was just like
he just took off,
desensitized to it. I honestly don't think there would be a time where it would come out unless it was like years later after his time in this community.
He would have
That's
never
everything.
came out
Something that I
and
basically
admitted
brushed over in
anything
this
if
video is
nobody
Acheron.
else called him
Acheron
out.
is the current hardest level on the Demonist, a level that far surpasses any other. The player who verified that level was Zoink, another complete anomaly in the
current
community.
GOAT.
And the first victor was Space, who basically stole that title away from Doggy as well.
But I feel like the first emotion before being disappointed was kind of a positive emotion, because I was like, I was the first victor of Acheron, and all that effort didn't go to waste. But in the end, I was kind of disappointed in this man.
Space's actions are a deep cut into the competitive integrity of the game. It's not only some of the biggest achievements in the past years.
I doubt
that were
anyone
stolen,
else would be able
but
to get
also
away with
the
something like
trust
this anymore,
us
though.
normal casual players have
Especially with
in top
like
players.
Exhibit A.
With Space coming out as a cheater, we don't know who to trust anymore. Especially when current top players like Zoink share a very similar origin story with Space, coming out of nowhere and all of a sudden just demolishing the
They're like,
entire
what
game.
if?
Do you
What if
think
Zoink
there
is
are
also a
more
cheater?
top players right now, like let's say in the top 20 that are cheating right now?
Alright, so Zoink better be cheating or else nothing makes sense. So I'm gonna say Zoink is cheating, because how? Like, this guy makes no sense.
He's just too
and
good.
He's also Space 2.0, like he's a Space clone. He might be a Space alt, so like I would not be surprised, to be honest. This guy's way too good. And if he's not hacking, I don't even know that's possible. So Zoink, good job if you're not hacking.
You better
Just
not
some
be,
people
or
that
else.
beat
That
Slaughterhouse,
documentary,
just
that
have these
video
weird-ass
essay is coming
names,
out
like
on
YOLO
you.
Mode Boom. I want to
2
call it
years
YOLO
later.
Mode Boom. You did not beat Slaughterhouse, in my opinion. Alright.
Has there been like has there been any other
It
incident
was
like
important to me
Space
to end the
UK
segment
since
on a bit
then?
of a lighter note. Doggy and
Because
all of the other
Samifying
players
hasn't
took
dropped
this
a video
entire
in
thing
2 years,
incredibly
so
well, and
there
they have
could be
nothing
out there.
but the uppermost respect from me. I will leave this segment with a recording of the 2022 Best Player Awards, just to show you why I really wanted to include Doggy.
Oh wow. Woo! Wait, he was actually up there with Space. Chapter 7 Aftermath. But I'm guessing like nowadays it's undisputed Zoink's being at the top. Or Zoink being at the top.
You might be wondering, where is Space in all of this now? How did he treat the situation, and what does this mean for him going into the future? He uploaded a tweet longer on the 26th of
Nothing
April.
in the
This was
world will
only a
justify
day
this.
after
I
his initial
deserve
exposure.
everything coming to
The
me.
tweet longer is basically him
Oh my
explaining
God.
how this entire thing started and why he kept going with it.
He
In the
actually
tweet
wrote
longer,
an
he
entire
explains
essay.
that the catalyst for all of this was his completion of the Golden. The one claim to fame he had at the start of all of this was that Golden was his 5th ever demon. Apparently, he accidentally had the no-clip cheat turned on during that attempt and only realized 20 minutes after that his completion was illegitimate, which makes sense since he literally beat it on the first attempt of that session, where it would be harder to notice that you accidentally have no clip turned on. He then decided to submit the record anyway on the basis of, meh, if I get caught, I will just quit
Dude,
the game.
yeah,
Which,
he's just
what kind of
backtracking and
mentality is
lying
that?
at this
To his
point.
surprise, the record was
If
accepted.
I get caught,
That
whatever.
is what made him realize he could get away with way more. He claims that after the Golden,
He could either be
beat the
lying
level
or
keynotes
this could
legit,
actually be
but in his
the truth,
completion,
but
OBS had a bug.
he has a
that froze
reputation
his
of being a
screen,
liar
so it
now.
wasn't recorded. So he decided to download Cbot and just click over a macro for the keynote completion we all knew until now. Once again, it was accepted, showing him he could get away with way more. And from that point on, he just let loose and cheated everything.
Like, who really knows if this is the truth or not? Like, maybe he was just a pathological cheater this entire time.
In the tweet longer, he also apologizes to other players and says he wants to make up for it by paying back the money that he made for his YouTube videos. This means Trick, Zoink, Doggy, Jeller, Crisis, and
too late,
Schizo
man. The
should
damage
receive
has
the
been
ad
done.
revenue money Space made from stealing their first Victor titles. Honestly, respect for trying to pay the money back.
Oh,
it shows to me that he
that's
at least to some
respectable, though.
extent realizes the damage that he's
Wait, that's
caused
actually-
over the
that's
years.
actually
I
fire.
can only confirm that so far, Trick has been the only person that has received money from Space. So
Yeah.
it seems like he's going through with what he said. However,
Only
even
one
if he
person,
pays the
though.
money back, I don't think that makes up for what he did.
I don't know if I would like accept that money from him, but
I
was like, at
respect
least
it
he's
from
trying
their end
to
as well.
do something.
What really sticks out to me in this entire situation is
Yeah, I
how
mean, the
reluctant
damage has
Space
been
was
done.
to tell the truth throughout all of this. It took multiple stages of exposals for him to admit what we think is the entire truth right now. I don't think he would have ever come out with this unless he was caught. And even at that point, he still tried to damage control. He still tried to play it off. With the first click delay exposal, he tried getting away with saying everything after him completing the entire main list was cheated, because he apparently had gotten bored of the game at that point.
See?
Upon being questioned why he didn't just
truth
cheat
was
the
he
verification
actually-
of a new top 1 level above Acheron, he said he didn't want to do it to a verification. Even at that point, he was still lying straight into the face of his close friends, reassuring them that it doesn't go that deep and everything else is still legit. When evidence came out to disprove even that, he finally dropped the ball and said everything was cheated and deleted his YouTube channel.
Yep,
Space
it was
has since
everything
then
after
created a
all.
new YouTube channel where he streamed himself
Very
attempting to
disappointing.
beat the golden legit this time, as a sort of way to add closure to his entire situation. And the craziest thing is, on the 5th of May, he actually did it.
Hey, I mean, respectable, I guess, but at this point, like, your reputation is down the drain. But good job. Like, this guy was actually a decent player, you know? Now this was the genuine reaction of him completing this level.
Looking at all of these comments, I get a really uneasy feeling. Almost like people forgave Space a bit too quickly maybe. Maybe I just have trust issues, but I cannot turn around and just forgive someone
it's too
knowing
late.
how long this guy went and how many achievements he stole just for his personal gain. And even now, I still have reason to not believe him and what he said in his tweet longer. Because look at this. This is the in-game leaderboard of the level Cataclysm. Look who we have here at rank 120. And just under Space, we have a player called Nuggles, who thankfully uploaded their Cataclysm completion to YouTube so we can date it. Thanks, Nuggles. This means Space beat Cataclysm roughly around June 2020, which would predate his golden completion. This means that the golden wasn't even his 5th ever demon. The one claim to fame that Space used to get notoriety is now shrouded in
He's just been a liar since the beginning.
Even in 2023, he still claimed to have never beaten Cataclysm, dropping it after getting 77% apparently. But here we have the in-game leaderboard clearly disproving just that. Unless he also used no-clip cheats for Cataclysm and just never recorded or tried to pass it off as legit, which would open an entire new bag of worms that I don't feel like going anywhere near.
Faking the in-game stats too?
He still hasn't told the entire truth.
Hey,
I
dude,
personally don't believe him
just
when he
go to
says
a
he
different game
accidentally
at this
no-clipped the
point.
golden. And I also don't believe that he got a frozen OBS bug on his Keynote completion.
Nah,
Let me show
dude,
you
just
the main
play a
reason
different game
why
at
I
this
just
point.
cannot
Move
believe
on.
this guy. Right next to comments that I found on YouTube or Twitter.
You've already done damage to Geometry Dash. A little bit of clowning. What is this? Space's behavior over the years. Oh, of course. People really just took him back? Dang. I guess his ego and pride really didn't. It just made him keep coming back, I guess.
Remember when I said earlier that the best way to lie is to tell the truth? Here's what I meant by that. This guy literally said he was cheating over the years, and we all wrote it off as his funny, sarcastic way
That's
of
what I was
making fun
saying.
of
It's
people
like
trying to claim that
he
he's
passed
not
it off
legit.
as a joke.
And there's so many of them. Like, what?
Does he deserve a
think
second chance?
He deserves a second chance.
Oh no, absolutely not. No.
Just straight up,
Like
nah.
this, especially
He ruined
this
my
much,
rep.
Like hiding it for 3 years.
He ruined my
just
leaderboard.
No.
In GD, if you are caught as a hacker, that is like
You're
your
cooked.
legacy. Like Andromeda
Yep.
confessed to hacking and rebeat everything legitimately. People still view him as a hacker.
I don't think that he should be engaging with the community now, but I'd like to see him make some sort of return maybe a few years from now, and sort of how Cyclic did when he hacked Sonic Wave.
Yeah, no, he just really needs actual consequences
Yeah.
to learn from.
He needs help, dude.
That's the best thing we can
This
do.
guy's a pathological liar.
It's something I'll have to think about
Yeah.
over the course of a long time. See how things pan out, I think.
Is there any chance for redemption for him?
In my eyes, Not at all. If I'm honest, I don't
like
think
the
I would have
honesty.
any respect for him as a player, even if he was legit. I don't see any chance of him ever coming back to the community, and I honestly think it's disrespectful of him to even try.
It's
to make
for the
any sort of
best.
comeback right now.
Okay.
If his closest friends don't show him what lying really does, and we just were too lenient about it, then this might happen again with him in the future with some other thing.
You just gotta cut him off.
No, I don't think there is. But if he tried, just kept beating levels and stuff, there would be a side of the community that would forgive him, because that's what always happens.
I mean, just you know, personally, friend to friend, I think I'll forgive him. But yeah, I also think I've just developed a little bit of Stockholm syndrome towards him, honestly.
Okay, but you guys are not hanging out in VCs anymore, right?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I mean, it changes the dynamic of your friendship.
I do.
You feel betrayed, you know, in a sense.
Seems like a really great friend to have.
Damn. That's unfortunate. For the future, there is no future. In GD, at least.
Listen, I care about this game. Geometry Dash and its players have done so much for me over the years, from helping me find my passion to create, to linking me up with so many people that I can now call my closest friends.
I gotta say, Samifying makes some insanely good videos.
And snapshot it in time. This way,
You should
future
come back,
generations
make
of
more
players
videos,
have an
Samifying.
accurate account of all the context and emotions.
That'll give me
involved.
more
It is
videos to
important
react to
now
as well.
to not lose trust in top players. Instead, we should go support the ones that you truly think deserve it. From the players
Zoink,
mentioned in this video
Doggy,
to other
Paco,
insane anomalies
Trick.
like Vision, who just the other day beat the level Silent Clubstep in over 800,000 attempts. With the new update releasing in October, I'm predicting that this game and all its players have a very healthy future ahead. So let's make sure that we keep shooting
And
for
the game
those
is
stars.
still alive today.
Keep pushing the
I just
limits
got
and
into
explore
it.
new boundaries. We let nobody tell us that we shouldn't care about a $4 mobile game, because it is the best $4 mobile game out there.
It really is.
Wait, what is that?
For a
No,
$4 game.
Stop!
Oh shoot! No, not GD! That was an amazing video. That was a banger, to say the least. I just hope you guys enjoyed this video. They just dropped the bombshell of knowledge on me. Yeah, so now I know what this Space UK incident is all about. Let me know down below in the comments if there's any other Geometry 3, 2, 1. Let me know down below in the comments if there's any other Geometry Dash video essays that I should check out in the future, and also if there's any other channels similar to Samifying. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? And make sure you guys tune into the live streams. I promise I'll get better at Geometry Dash. Peace, guys. See ya.